Hello, and welcome to another episode of Training Bytes. My name is Mike Gibb from accountsrecovery.net, and I'm thrilled to bring you this series with Mary Shores from Mary Shores Communications. Mary's a second-generation agency owner, best-selling author, and creator of the Collection Advantage online program, which is designed to help collectors create and execute high-converting scripting to increase their cash flow and decrease complaints. Joining Mary today is Roxie Olivero-Winfield. Roxy is the head trainer for Shores Communications, the office manager at Midstate Collection Solutions, and a certified practitioner of Mary Shores Communication Code. Roxy was also the winner of a Champaign County, Illinois Chamber of Commerce Exceptional Employee of the Month Award. Roxy's primary professional focuses are successful new hire onboarding, team management, and consumer and client satisfaction. Mary, take it from here.
Hey, Roxy, it is so good to see you today. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mary. How are you?
Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm very well, and I'm excited because for those of you who don't know, if you're watching the Training Bites, Roxy actually works for me. So this is a very special episode of Training Bites because Roxy, as Mike mentioned, is my trainer and my office manager at Midstate Collection Solutions. So aside from me, Roxy is like the world's leading expert on the Collection Advantage and on training collectors. I promise you, this is going to be an episode that you're going to gain so much value from because we're going to be talking about setting up weekly challenges as a role play exercise for collectors. And what I have found is, especially in this environment of COVID-19, when you have people working from home, role play exercises can be challenging, because we don't have that same face-to-face contact like we did before. And so there's a way we can set up weekly challenges with collectors that will actually stimulate, motivate, integrate what you're trying to teach them, and also up-level your entire team. So Roxy, welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So Roxy, to start things off, tell us what a collector challenge is.
So a collector challenge is very similar to like setting up an incentive. It's fun and challenging, and it's an exercise to really help the collector put things they've learned into practice and really stretch their brain, kind of put them outside of their comfort zone of what they've learned to help them really master that technique.
I love that because, one of our concepts is we always want people to understand inside, outside, backwards, and forwards how to do their job. Well, if your job is very task oriented, say like data entry, that's easy to do. But when your job is like a phone job or interacting with consumers, there's a lot of different nuances. So the challenges have been very successful. And what I'm curious about is like, what is the direct results on performance when you deliver one of the collector challenges or one of the collection advantage challenges to our collectors?
Sure. These challenges, they really give a collector the opportunity to, as I mentioned, practice. They're going to struggle, which is a good thing. That's them learning. Again, we're stretching their mind and we're reprogramming their old way of doing things. The results of these challenges definitely increase the collector's confidence and they create immediate results. An example from our office, we had two of our collectors, Scott and Pam. We noticed that Pam's payment arrangements were much higher than Scott's. And when we looked into things, what we discovered is that Scott was always starting with the lowest possible payment option, and Pam was always starting with the highest possible payment option. So therefore, hers were always higher than Scott's. What we did is put a challenge around this situation. And we challenged Scott to always start with the highest payment option, just like Pam was doing. And what we saw was immediate results with Scott's payment arrangements increasing. And because of that, his overall collections were considerably higher than what they were before he did that challenge. And collectors, they're more likely to remember something that they've actually learned. So that's why those challenges really, really work, because it gives them that opportunity to actually learn it.
Mm-hmm. So when because the challenge, the story that you just mentioned is awesome. And of course, like I remember because I was a part of that. And really what you can do is it helps you to figure out like, where does this particular collector need help? And then up level them right there. So with Scott, he was really great about collecting payment in full. And then it was just his payment arrangements. And what I feel like is once he did the challenge, it's like it makes the technique that you're trying to teach them, it makes it stick in their mind. So it's not something like that he did for a week and then he stopped doing it, but it changes the way that they understand their work so that they can perform this over and over and over again. So I'm also curious, like, what kind of effect does it have on the team's morale and the individual collector's confidence?
For sure, their confidence really, really does increase. I would even say to skyrocket, because when they start seeing positive results, they're going to get even more motivated. I think of the 3 C's. So confidence, consistency, and communication. We're building up the collector's confidence as they're doing these challenges because they're learning these new ways and techniques of doing things. Teaching them how to communicate effectively, and then of course, how to remain consistent throughout each phone call. This makes the collector, makes the consumer happier at the end of the phone call, which really makes that collector feel good as well. And of course, the end result being that they're collecting more money. With the morale, there really is a benefit to like teamwork. So collectors, as they're doing these challenges, especially with each other and sharing their experiences and results, it really keeps each of them motivated. They encourage each other to do a better job, share different things that they've tried to really help each other out. There's the saying, teamwork makes the dream work, and it's so true with these challenges. I will say too, these challenges really show collectors like goals are attainable. It may seem very difficult, but once they get in there and actually start experiencing these challenges, they're going to see results that they just weren't expecting to see. Of course, keeping them even more and more motivated to just keep going. It really helps collectors create their own innovative and creative ways to collecting. There was a coaching call that we were on, Mary, where one of the collectors shared that she was very committed to a challenge. She took it on and she quickly realized how easy it was to ask for money in the right way. And what she did is developed this pattern where she went right into asking for the full payment, offering a down payment, and then splitting that remaining balance up into just a few short payments to help that consumer get that situation resolved. She felt incredibly proud. So that's that feeling that the collector is going to get as they end a phone call with the consumer. They're going to be very proud to see that challenge that they did, and now they're using that on phone calls. It really does work, and it really does help them. And these challenges, they really help collectors think outside of the box, and they really start to become an expert with their negotiations.
That day we were on that coaching call. And so what Roxy's talking about is that we have a program called the Collection Advantage online training program, and it's designed to create and execute high converting collectors utilizing certain words and phrases that help them facilitate empathy and connection and compassion with the consumer. And there was this young lady, and she's kind of a new collector, like maybe she's been a collector for about a year, but oftentimes collectors can feel this fear, like they can feel this fear when they have to ask for money because they're not sure how that consumer is going to respond. So once she was able to put the right words around how she made her request, and then came the challenge. And sometimes they might even be like, I don't know if I can do this challenge. But after she did it, call after call after call after call, she really massaged it. And so, yeah, she said, I have this system that I use now. And her collections went way up. And what I loved the most about that moment and that story is how when she told it to us, she lit up like a Christmas tree. She was so excited about it. And she was so excited to share her method with her other collectors. And so I know you have some tips for how to set up, like how to be successful when you set up a challenge. So definitely share with the audience, like what are your personal tips for setting up a challenge for your collectors in the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, after they've, completed the course and they're getting ready to start these challenges, I do like to meet with them briefly or just have a very quick discussion with them to let them know what to expect with the challenges. Really let them know, like, I'm here to support you through this any possible way that I can, and really encourage them to celebrate all of their wins, big or small, to really celebrate those, even if it doesn't result in collecting payment. What was the good that came out of that, and really celebrate that. Really assuring them too, like, it's okay if you don't get it 100% right. That's why the challenges are here and there's power behind them. So as they do them and practice this, it'll get easier and easier. And then after meeting with the collector, I have an email sequence that I use, really sticking to doing one challenge at a time, not giving them so much information of what to expect for every challenge and overwhelming them, but one challenge at a time, an email, individual email, outlining the expectations for that. And then when they're done with their challenge, definitely getting feedback from them. What are your 3 takeaways? What did you really learn? Like, how is this going to help you on your phone calls with consumers? And of course, you're going to want to check in as they're doing the challenges to see how their progress is going. Some people, they might get stuck and they may just need a little guidance along the way. So really being there to support them. The great thing about challenges is that you can repeat them. So as Mary, you mentioned, as far as the story about Scott's payment arrangements, that's what we identified. He needed some additional training and coaching on that specifically. And we had just one challenge ready to go for him. So you can definitely repeat them as often as needed.
And just a sort of side note about the collector that we're talking about, his name is Scott. He's a veteran collector. So he's worked for us for only a couple of years, but he worked with a partner company of ours for like 20 plus years. So even if someone is, a real veteran collector and knows every tip and trick in the book, these challenges even help those people become more successful. And they definitely help with new people because it helps them develop those skills early on. So thank you so much, Roxy. And if anyone in the audience would like to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. So you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. You can search by Roxie Olivero-Winfield. And I would definitely love to connect with each of you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Mary.